think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show, where we think, act, and prosper. And obviously, I've told you guys multiple times, today we're at the Rule Symposium with the man himself, Rick Rule. This event is amazing. And so we're going to get Rick's perspective on just like how things are going. And then we're going to get into some of the micro dynamics of investing in precious metals and resources. Because here I actually had, which I'll give that in a second. I'll give my take on it in a second. But I'm very shocked at what I've learned, and I'm very I'm just mind blown. It's a lot of information, and you warned me about that before, and so.
Well, I was delighted that you invested enough in yourself to come all the way across the country, from Seattle down here to Fort Lauderdale. I've tried to stress to people, particularly young people, and I guess at age 70, everybody's young compared to me, but I've tried to suggest that the best investment that you can make is an investment in yourself, an investment in education, in learning, investment in your brand, and you've done all that. It's great. So I congratulate you, like I congratulate the other 500 people who are joining you here and the 700 people who are joining us online.
Yes. So one thing I didn't really, which we talk macro a lot. And sometimes, every now and then, we'll touch briefly on the micro, but there's so many branches of like the tree. Today I learned about exploration. What's the difference between royalty and streaming? Mining and different dynamics within the actual precious metals market, like sales and things of that nature. And so, what's kind of your take on this experience this year? Like, what are you seeing that's different from years past, or what are you enjoying this year? Like, what's kind of your take? What are you getting?
Well, I got to start by saying, and this is going to make me sound very unhumble, but you're starting at the top. This conference has been going on for 22 years. And we curate the exhibitors. The exhibitors have to be owned by the people who put on the conference. So you're seeing a uniformly high quality group of exhibitors. The first thing is, don't equate what you see here with what you might see in a conference that is frankly more entertainment oriented. You come here to work. In terms of the macro micro, I don't manage interviews with hosts like yourself. I answer the questions that you have, understanding that the questions that you have represent the questions that you get from your own audience. Once you've satisfied yourself, Daryl, on the macro, where the rubber meets the road, where you actually make the money, is the micro. You need to determine, which is why I'm so delighted that you came down here, what aspect of the opportunity that is natural resources is appropriate for your portfolio. There are some people who have their basic needs, their basic living taken care of, and they want to pursue investment strategies. They want to participate in the market beta. They think that gold is going up, so they want to participate in the gold bull market, but they don't want to invest in the small companies because they're too speculative. They don't want to take the company risk if they think they're right with the sector. But the only one who can make that decision for you, and by extension your audience, is you. What's important to me is what you're doing. Do you want to participate in the sector by owning the metal? Okay, great. Now we'll show you how to do that. Do you want to take a little bit more risk and get equity beta? Well, a little more risk, we're going to put you into big royalty and streaming stocks. We're not going to let you take any operating risk. You want a little more torque? No problem. We'll talk to the producers. You want a lot of torque? We'll put you in developers. You want to swing for the fence? We'll put you in the explorers. The part of the micro that we will take you through depends on your interest, what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do. Now, most people, Daryl, imagine your portfolio as a yardstick. I don't know if they still have those things, but they used to have them in lumber yards and millinery stores and stuff. And over here is 0 inches, okay? That's low risk, low reward. And over here at 36 is high risk, high reward. So what you got to do is determine how far along this stick you want to be. What everybody wants to do is bend the stick. They want low risk and high reward, but the stick breaks. You can't have that, right?
Yeah,
so what I ask people like you, and by extension your audience, to do, is once they have become acquainted with enough of the macro to understand the natural resource theme and the precious metals themes, which are different, is think about their own theme. Think about where they want to fit on that yardstick. And because there's so much micro to introduce you to that I don't want to lose you. I don't want to bore you with some aspect of micro that isn't appropriate to what you're trying to get done.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times, the stackers or the precious, in the precious metal community, like we look at like just the end product, and there's so many components that go into making that product, so many steps along the way. And so for me, learning more about that has been very enlightening, and I have a lot of homework to do.
Right. Well, I think you're starting in the right place. I happen to believe that whether or not you think the precious metals price is going to go up, that you need to own some physical precious metals, and you need to own it for insurance purposes, the same way that you might insure your house or your car or your life. And frankly, we've had this discussion on air before. If you own a lot of physical gold, you ought to hope the price doesn't go up, because the set of circumstances that makes the gold price go up makes the rest of your life more challenging. But still, you got to be insured. If, after you've taken care of that, which I think you've already done for yourself and your family, then if you want to move up the risk scale, then we'll talk about how far up you want to go, and we'll teach you how to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I mean, like even just getting to know some of the exploration companies here, and not knowing that. I think I was having a conversation with Tony Retta about, and he mentioned like 99% of the exploration ideas or something may go bust or something like that. I don't know if that was the number.
Worse than that. When I was in university, your audience isn't going to believe this, but I was in university in 1970, so 50 years ago. About 1 in 3,000 mineralized anomalies, metal showings, became a mine.
1 in 3,000?
Yeah. Now you can lower the odds a lot by investing or speculating in companies that have very high quality management teams, that select higher company projects. You can wait until they have the first drill hole in it, so that you get better data. If you have a discovery hole, if somebody's put a hole in this mineralized anomaly and the hole is ore grade, irrespective of the size, then you raise the odds to perhaps 1 in 100. That might have been what Tony's talking about. Yeah. If you wait until they got 20 drill holes in it, you probably raise the odds to 1 in 20 or 1 in 25. The way it makes sense as a speculator, if you can afford the financial risk, and if psychologically you can afford to be wrong a few times, is that if you succeed in exploration, you make 10 times your money, or 20 times your money, or 30 times your money, or sometimes 50 times your money. If you have a 20 bagger, if you make 20 times your money, you can amortize several 25% failures. It doesn't matter. The arithmetic of what you make relative to what you can lose, if you can psychologically stomach the loss, pretty extraordinary. Most people can't. Most people personalize losing 25% of the money that they have in any individual stock, and it's so painful to them that they don't understand the arithmetic of the process.
Another piece that I've even just observed here at the symposium is there's a lot of ties to some of the big names, like stocks that I actually invest in, like Vale, Cameco, many different ones, BHP, and so even me interviewing some of the other guests here, or the other speakers here, like Ross McElroy, just going and looking at his resume, I'm like, dude, you were at two of the companies that I invest in.
Right.
And so I appreciate you mentioning like this is like the top notch quality education that you're going to get.
You know, Daryl, we like to invest in companies where at least the technical staff, the geologists and the engineers, have been big company trained. We want people that first of all have access to big companies, because if the time comes that they're going to sell the company, it's nice if they're selling the company to people who are peers. But it's more important that they have had a variety of experiences, that they know what a big deposit looks like, that they know the correct way to drill off a deposit. And the best finishing school for a geologist or an engineer is a major mining company. We love to see major mining company expertise in these small companies. So what your observation is exactly correct.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've had Nomi Prinz here, you know, hopefully I can snag her for an interview. We talked about it, so that was good. So that was amazing, you know, her releasing the book, and like, so you're bringing like top notch people. I keep saying that because it's very true and it's very valuable. The value that you're creating here.
Well, we're not too tricky. First of all, this conference is almost literally run by the attendees. If Nomi Prinz doesn't score well this year in the attendee polls, she's not coming back next year, right?
Yep.
If she doesn't deliver, she doesn't just have to be smart. She has to be able to communicate how smart she is. You have to get enough benefit from Nomi Prinz that you tell me in the attendee poll that you want her back. The second thing is there's a whole bunch of conferences that say to Nomi Prinz, well, you can come, you can speak, you can sell your book. And I stroke Nomi a check. I pay her. I pay her to be here. And I'm real fussy about who I pay money to. Like, there's a whole bunch of people that can give you this big picture BS about all this kind of stuff, right? Nomi worked for Goldman Sachs. She worked for Bear Stearns. She worked for Lehman Brothers. In a biblical sense, you know, this woman was in the belly of the beast. You know what I'm saying? And so when she talks about disruption in major financial services institutions, it's because she lived it. You know, she was at Lehman Brothers when Lehman Brothers blew up. And when Lehman Brothers blew up, it almost took down the financial system. So she's able to talk about the impact of policy in a very untheoretical way. Same with Jim Rickards. You know, I mean, Jim Rickards was a policy analyst for the CIA. He was chief counsel of long-term capital management when they blew up. What you want, if somebody's going to talk about big picture, is somebody who isn't ethereal, but rather somebody who talks about the implication of policy and policy failures, and preferably somebody who lived through a blow-up. You know, so that they could say, Daryl, here's the theoretical part, but here's what you can do to protect yourself from it, or if you have the courage, profit from it. Agreed.
So, so this will be available to people for like, I think it's on the live stream for a while. I think it's available for like up to a year or something like that on the live stream.
This will be available to live attendees and live stream attendees through December 31st. We may sell access to it to the general public. We're sort of debating whether we're going to do that, whether it'll cannibalize next year's live stream sale to do that. But you know, you're going to find out yourself, Daryl. You're in day one, right? You're going to find that we're going to throw 55 hours of programming at you in 4 days. And no matter how smart you are or how hard you work, you're going to end up with brain strain. And so what you're going to have to do is during the conference and any educational product, you're going to have to take notes about what you have to review later. Not just take notes about what you learned now, but what you tried to understand but couldn't get and need to return to. I mean, to get your money's worth out of this conference, really get your money's worth out of this conference, you need to get out of it what you put into it. And the only way I know to do it, you're younger than me, but the only way I know to do it at age 70 is to write notes and instruct myself on what I need to do.
Yeah, agreed. So tomorrow I'm interviewing Frank Trotter of
Wonderful.
Battle Bank.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this coming to fruition, and and so like any insight that you have that you may want to share with the audience.
Yeah, I'll talk right straight to the audience, right? I mean, first of all, I've been in the banking business for a very long time. I jokingly to introduce myself to Daryl as a used money salesman, which is sort of what I am. I like the banking business. And as an entrepreneur, I like to address customer needs where I see the ability to fulfill them. When I go to, and I won't name my bank, my big bank, and I go to the branch, I did this 6 or 7 weeks ago. I think I shared this with you last time we visited. Woman that ran the branch, very nice woman, and she didn't know very much about their products. The benefit I got from the branch was nil. I asked her about some deposit products. She points me to a little white phone, I guess to talk to India about her products or something like that, So I got no benefit from this branch, but the branch was costing the bank money. At Battle Bank, our branch is going to be your phone or your computer. If you aren't sophisticated enough to do business like that, you should do business with somebody else, not with us. But we can save 110 basis points in non-interest expense by not having that branch, which means that we can easily be in the top 25% of deposit payers nationwide. Yeah. When I go to the big bank, in terms of US dollar denominated deposits, my bank has 15 products. I don't need 15 products. I need one product that pays me high interest, that I can write checks against, that I can wire money from. I don't need 15, I need one. So that's what we're going to do. Just like we did with EverBank, we're going to make banking simple. We're going to pay you fair money on your deposit. We're going to lend against assets where we know the value of the assets. We're going to lend money against gold and silver, as an example. That's what Battle Bank is all about. I didn't even know this was legal, Daryl, but we believe your IRA is your IRA. So in your IRA with Battle Bank, you can own a limited liability company under your IRA. You can buy rental property, which you manage. Now, I don't know if your bank lets you do that, but I bet you they don't. And by the way, if you put down a reasonable down payment, we'll carry the mortgage on the rental real estate in your IRA.
Wow.
Now, when I first heard about this, when this bank was an organization, I said to these guys, no way, that's not legal. Somebody's going to go to jail over this. It's not going to be me. And the Battle Bank lawyers called my lawyers and said, tell Rick to calm down. This is how it works. Turns out it's completely legal. Now, you don't hear about this from big financial services companies because they don't believe that your money's your money.
Yep.
They believe everything that you do should pay them a fee. So that's what Battle Bank is about. Daryl, but your audience doesn't. Beginning in the year 2000, we built another bank called EverBank. We built it from zero to $28 billion in assets. We took it public on the New York Stock Exchange and ultimately sold it to TIAA CREF. And they've done a good job with the bank, but their needs were different than our depositors' needs. In that bank, EverBank, we built up a deposit base of about 250,000 people. And we built it up the same way we're building this one. We built it up by having simple deposit products, but also by telling people, if you'd like to save some of your money in Canadian dollars or euros or pound sterling or Australian dollars, 22 different currencies, we can give you federally insured certificates of deposit or money market accounts in 22 different currencies, because your money is just that, your money.
Wow.
It's not my money. If you decide living in Seattle that you want to save some of your money in Canadian dollars, you got it. Euros, you got it. We'll do that for you. Your money is your money, and we'll design deposit products and lending products that recognize that your money is your money.
That's good. And I was learning from Frank, he was talking about how you're able to pay high interest on checking is by not having like all these branches where you have all these excessive costs, to run a branch.
We just went through that. Battle Bank, your computer, your phone is my branch. And I don't have to pay any rent. You already pay the rent. And I don't have to have all those people. Now, we don't have cookies and coffee in the lobby. okay?
Yep.
But we are able to pay you in the top quartile in deposit interest nationwide because of that. And we're able to have extremely high quality employees if you want to explore our products. We don't have many products, but the consequence of that is that we can employ very high quality people so that when you call us, you don't get an answering machine. You know, to deposit, hit 1, to withdraw, hit 2. If you're unhappy with us, hit pound and go to hell. Mm-hmm. We don't have that. We have living, breathing human beings that pick up the phone and they'll talk to you. Precious metals lending, we do that. First mortgages, yeah, you talk to me. Canadian dollar deposit, absolutely. Euro CD, that's me. 25 products, maybe, that our people understand very well and can communicate personally in English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm looking forward to that. Be sure to stay tuned for the interview with Frank Trotter as we go deeper into this as well. I mean, Rick just went pretty deep into it, but looking forward to tomorrow's interview. So what is there anything else you would like to share with the audience before we
simply
head out to our cruise?
Simply that this is an investment conference, and the most important investment, particularly that a young person, by the way, at 70, almost everybody's young compared to me, but somebody like you in your mid-30s or your audience, which might be younger, the most important investment you can make is in yourself. And that's what you've done. You've taken time out of your life. You've come all the way across the country. You're making an investment in yourself. And I hope that your audience does the same thing. I'm not trying to say that your audience all ought to come to my conference, but your audience has to make investments in their own education. They have to read books like The Intelligent Investor. They have to prepare themselves to take control of their financial future. They got to understand that relying on the government or relying on their employer or relying on their family, all that kind of thing, all too risky. Mm-hmm. They got to rely on themselves, and in order to do that, they got to invest in themselves and their education, which is exactly what you're doing. Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Well, yeah, appreciate you coming on the show and looking forward to the rest of the conference.
Great. We're hoping to help you with your education.
Yes, indeed.